What is the one thing that the Madden NFL series has been missing for the past few years? Many of you could name probably a lot of things here. Deeper franchise mode, different modes in the game in general, mini games. There's a lot of things, but I think the one big thing that we can all agree that has been a huge absence from the game for a while now is Superstar or Career Mode. And no, I'm not talking about long shot. I'm talking about an actual career mode, something more along the lines of what you see in NBA 2K or even NBA Live or other sports games, where you actually have your own created player. You take them through storylines, cutscenes, but you also take them through the NFL, through the process of getting drafted, workouts, picking what team you want to be on, demanding trades, things like that. The game has been missing this for so long, and it appears to me that in Madden 20, this is actually going to finally be coming back. This is EricRayweather, everybody, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the big possibility of Superstar / Career Mode returning in Madden 20, and honestly, the one and biggest indicator of this for me is something that has been out in the open since the beginning of Madden 19, actually. If you are a person that follows any of the devs or the directors for Madden on Twitter, you will have noticed it all the way back in September, pretty much a month after Madden 19 released. Michael Young, who is the creative director for Madden right now, and he is also the person who pretty much wrote and came up with Long Shot, which, as many of you know, is the telltale story in the game that's been in the game for the past 2 years. You have Long Shot, which is similar, very, not too much like a career mode, but the closest thing to it. He wrote that. He brought that back into Madden. Earlier this year, somebody sent him a message on Twitter, and he said, "Long Shot is a good story and all, but we want a career mode. Help the brothers out, Mike." And Michael Young responded to him. He said, "We got you, Kyle." Now, keep in mind, if this is the creative director of Madden, also the guy that brought Long Shot to the game, which I always felt was the foot back in the door to getting the Superstar or career mode in the game, but this is how they were starting it out. It really makes all the sense in the world that Madden 20 will actually have a career mode, because if this is the creative director, why would he say that if he was not going to deliver on that? And some of you may say, well, it's EA, sure, they'll just say whatever, but really think about that. If this is the creative director of Madden, he didn't beat around the bush. You can look up tweets from tons of Madden developers or creative directors over the years. People ask them questions and they'll kind of just tiptoe around it, give a very basic generic answer that says, this is something we've been looking into and hope to visit it one day. Something along the lines of, yes, we hear the feedback, but in so many words, probably not anytime soon. But what Michael Young literally said is, "We got you." So why would you say that if it wasn't going to be in Madden 20? And also keep in mind, this is in September, so it's not like this just happened a few days ago where you could argue that, well, this isn't going to actually, they're not going to have enough time to implement this for Madden 20. No, this was all the way back in September, which said that, to me, that was his direction looking forward, is we need a career mode in this game. And of course, through the grapevine over the past couple years, we've all kind of heard rumblings of career mode's going to be making its comeback, and Long Shot was kind of the way to open that up. Now, what Long Shot did for the game was fine. You either loved it or you hated it. It did bring some new people to the game. A lot of people did like it, but it was very short, it was limiting, and it kind of just gave people a taste of, hey, what's to come. And the good thing about Long Shot, especially this being the guy that brought it to the game and wrote it, it kind of, what it did was build out the early stages of what a career mode, what a Superstar mode could be. So if Madden 20 in fact does get this, you've kind of already got a lot of stuff built out and laid out into the game, which Long Shot has kind of added piece by piece over the last couple years. You already have a little foundation that you could build on. Now, what am I looking for from a career mode in Madden 20? Personally, I think it will be probably a bit bare bones, just because it'll be the first year coming back. And like I said, this is all speculation, of course. I wouldn't imagine that it would be this grand thing. I think it's probably one of those things where you see it build out each year, and that's what most smart game companies would do. They're not just going to try to throw everything in at one time. They're going to build upon it each year, because if done right, this not only brings a lot of people back to Madden that have not really played it over the last few years, because a lot of people like that career / superstar mode of a game. They like to be their own player. kind of tell their own story and kind of live, you know, their own virtual reality as if they were a player. That's something that 2K does very well, because their My Career mode, you know, you can take your guy online into the park, you can take them into the Pro-Am, and I think if EA is smart, they should build that out for Madden. You're not going to get all of that in year one. I just don't think that's possible, but that should be the goal, is to build that out. Maybe you integrate an online street mode to the game. A lot of people want to see like an NFL Street return, but why not implement it into Madden down the line, where you can bring your own player online and you can maybe play, you know, some 3-on-3s or some 7-on-7s if possible. You know, it's something that probably be a little bit harder to do with a football game than a basketball game, because you kind of need more players. You know, in basketball you can play a 3-on-3. In football it's a little bit trickier, you kind of need more people, but you can have, you know, online mini games that you can take your player to the street or the park, however you want to call it. But also just having team ups, or maybe ways to even take your created player into Ultimate Team, because obviously we know that EA is very big on Ultimate Team. They make a lot of money off of it, so anytime they can funnel it back into Ultimate Team, they will. Why not make it to where you can bring your own player into your Ultimate Team? There's really endless possibilities with it, but I think first off what they need is they need it, you know, get the baseline set, right? You should be able, you know, go through some college, go through the combine, the 40-yard dash, the bench press, all that good stuff, you know, your workouts. Maybe do some workouts for, like, you know, have it set up to where you can have like a private workout with a team or two, something like that. Nothing crazy, but just make it feel organic. And then of course you go through the draft process, and then after you get drafted, you should be able, you know, have some control, you know, have endorsements that you can get. Maybe you can demand a trade and things like that, because the way the career mode is right now in Madden, there is technically a career mode. You can go into franchise and you can pick, you know, just being a player, but there's literally nothing else beyond that. You just play as the player. There's nothing. There's no cutscenes. There's no decisions to make. There's no control that you have over anything. You just create your guy, and you just basically play a regular game, only controlling one person. There's nothing else beyond that. I think EA knows that this is something that people have been dying for a while, and to see the creative director actually just say so simply, "We got you," that makes me feel really confident that we're getting that in Madden 20. Because if you think about Madden 19 as well, there really was no big new feature to Madden 19, and some people will say, well, that's every year, but not really the case, because you can go back every year and at least name one thing that was somewhat big and new to the game. You know, Madden 16 brought draft champions, right? Madden 17, I can't remember off the top of my head. I think, you know, there was something big, but I can't remember off the top of my head. Madden 18, you had MUT Squads, a whole new game mode. So every year, at least, you know, it has one big thing. Madden 19 didn't have that. Madden 19 was kind of sold as like real player motion being the big thing, but that truthfully wasn't a big, like, thing that changes the game, like, in terms of like something that makes you want to buy the game. You don't see real player motion and say, oh, I'm gonna pick the game up because of this. You see career mode, that's making someone that says, I haven't picked up Madden for 5 years, say, hey, I might try Madden this year because they have a superstar mode back. So I think if EA is smart, and just seeing what I've seen so far, it just appears that that's going to be something that happens this year, and something I'm actually really excited about, and more so excited to see how they build it out as the years come, because I really think this is one of those things that if they do it right and they implement, you know, a good amount each year to it, and they can make it as good or even somewhat close to as good as how it is in NBA 2K or even their own game NBA Live, because their career mode in NBA Live is actually really well, you know, it's really good, it's really well put together. It's just not on the big of a stage as 2K, because 2K kind of dominates that market, but NBA Live actually has a very good career mode, so that lets me know that with, you know, within EA, they're capable of doing something and doing it right, because they have absolutely done that right on NBA Live. So that really makes me look forward to what could happen with Madden. And if they could get it to that place where it can kind of rival what 2K has captured for the basketball gaming industry, that can be huge for Madden and honestly take it to new heights. I know that Ultimate Team is always a big focus, but this is something that could even take it a whole step further, because there's such a big group of players that could care less about Ultimate Team, but this is the experience they want. If you give them that, you have more people buying the game, you have more people enjoying the game. And like I said, you integrate some college back into the game. You know, like in the same way that like a 2K does. When you can go through high school and then you go through college and you play like, you know, 3 or 4 college games. You might have 8 to 10 colleges that you have rights to that you can put in the game. It's not, you know, the exact same as NCAA, but getting a little bit of a feeling for that back through career mode. There's just so much they could do with it, and just from what I've seen, it just looks like that's going to be a big possibility this year. Something I'm excited about. So tell me below, how do you feel about this? Is this something you want to see in Madden? Is this something that you would, you know, play? Is this something, if you're a guy that hasn't bought Madden for a while or doesn't really like Madden, is this something that would, you know, in your eyes say, hey, I'll give Madden a shot, or maybe I'll pick it up and try it because this is something that's back into the game? Let me know, because it's something I'm actually really excited about. As a guy that doesn't really play much franchise or anything like that, this is something I would definitely play a lot of. So let me know your comments below, and as always, I will see you guys next time.